Hey, how's it going? And today we are just looking at array type switch. This is straight out of the LightWave documentation. This is for maybe a refresher or if you're new to LightWave. This is not necessarily intuitive how you set it up, but I'm just following the documentation pretty straightforward. But this is very, very interesting and goes along with the fact that LightWave is a ray trace render engine, and therefore there's ways you can control the ray trace very specifically in terms of how it manifests itself or renders itself out. So to get started, this is just a few minutes just to set this up, and this part's mostly for beginners, but we're just going to create a ground plane. We're going to go OK. We're going to zoom in here a little bit, and then on the surface editor, we're just going to pick a checkerboard pattern here, and we'll just leave it at the default pattern color, and we want it to project from the Y. And so that gives us a nice checkerboard pattern to look at. Then we're going to need 2 cubes and a sphere. So we're just going to come over to model, go to geometry, grab a cube here, and we can just kind of scoot this over, maybe back it up a little bit and bring it up a little bit, put it right about there. And we don't want to clone this, we want to get another cube. So we'll get another cube. It's going to come in over there, and this is the one we're going to be playing around with, actually. So this is going to come over here, and it's going to be about there. And then lastly, we're going to get a sphere. So we come into sphere, and we have to bump these sides up, otherwise you'll see the polygons. So we'll go 36, 36, and it's going to come in there, and we're just going to move this up and forward a little bit there. We can kind of reposition ourselves here, kind of zoom in, something like that. And this is really cool. This is fascinating to me. Okay, so we got our 3 objects, we got our ground plane, we're all good. I'm gonna probably just turn that a little bit more like that. There we go. Okay, and we are set. So to start this, we're going to turn this cube and this sphere into glass objects. So to do that super easy, we're going to just hit F8 and make it clear glass. Double click and go OK, and you'll see it go transparent there. And then we'll select this one, go to surface editor, and do the same thing. We'll F8 it. I wanted to explain a couple things here. Did I get that? F8, hold on, F8, glass. Okay. So sometimes you have to play around with these settings. Wait, that one didn't go. Wait, sphere. I'm on the cube. Make sure I'm on the right thing here. New cube object there. These aren't the same, so should be this one here, and then hit F8. We'll click into it, F8, glass, yes, okay, there we go. Okay, so sometimes you have to play around with the settings on here. So if we go, let's match our perspective, our camera perspective. If I go into VPR, you'll notice it comes in this kind of greenish color, which isn't quite what we want. That looks like if you go back into the surface editor here and we go to F8, that almost looks like this jaded one, or the wine bottle. Actually, it looks like the wine bottle. So what we want to do is just change the transmittance on that to white, and you'll see it looks a lot more like glass then. So I'm just going to do that for these two, is just change the transmittance color to white, and then we get something that looks a lot more like glass. Now what we're wanting to really see is the the reflection of this cube here. So, and I believe that's it right there. I think that's it, or maybe I have to adjust my perspective here a little bit. I want to see this cube reflected. So let me get out of VPR for a second. And we're almost to the meat and potatoes of this thing. But I wanted to show you how to set it up just so that it follows the documentation. So on this cube with it selected, let's just go ahead and we'll select it here and let's turn it red, nice and red like that. And we'll go OK. Now let's go ahead and take a look and see what it looks like. Great. Now I want to be able to see this reflected, because what we're going to do is we're going to play around with the reflection and the refraction. So that's what we're seeing here is reflection and refraction. And so can I bring that down? Hold on. If I go on that's the second cube, right? I lower it. You can see it a little bit better, I think. I'm just trying to get it positioned here. So weird when it renders. I want to really be able to see it in this sphere here. There we go. I think we can see it pretty well now. Okay. So to do this, all we're going to do is we're going to go into our red cube here. And it's this one right here. And we're going to search for something called a ray type switch, which is fascinating, really interesting, going back to the fact that LightWave being a ray traced engine. And all we're going to do is just plug this material node into here, disconnect. One thing I like about LightWave is you can just disconnect stuff. Oops, made an error. So we're going to plug this in here, and this is going to go into default. And the ray type is going to just go into here. So this is kind of funny. Is the ray type goes into ray type. And there we go. We haven't really changed anything yet. And then what we're going to do is, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a copy, 2 copies of this. We're going to right click, go copy, right click and paste, and we'll right click this and rename this to refraction and go OK. And then if we right click and paste again, we're going to get another one, and we're going to rename this to reflection. Oops, reflection. Like that, and go OK. And then we can do this. You can do this any way you want to do this, but I'm just following the documentation. We're going to change the refraction to a purple color, like right there, or I guess that's kind of a violet color. Let's change it to purple. Purple. We'll change that to purple, and we're going to plug refraction into refraction. And then on reflection, we're going to change this one to green, like that, and close that. And then we can go ahead, getting kind of messy here. I'm going to plug reflection into reflection there, and I can close these up to make those small, like that. And I'll just close that one too. Okay, so now if we just close this and go back into VPR, you'll see the reflection is here, and you'll notice that it's green, and in our glass you'll see that the refraction is purple. So it's cool, right? The degree of control that you have over the rays coming off, that you can actually control the colors and other attributes coming off of the rays, so down to the refraction and reflections. So that's all I had for today. Take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.